All right. Good evening, folks, and welcome to Poetry Open Mic Asheville. We're coming at you live from Asheville, North Carolina, USA. My name is Caleb Beissert. It is a pleasure to be your host this evening and each and every Wednesday evening here on Poetry Open Mic Asheville. Big shout out to our sponsor, Sovereign Kava, for keeping this open mic going. We've been going for over 10 years now here as an open mic, a poetry open mic here in Asheville. And for the past nearly coming up on a year now, we've been in the virtual realms with the virtual quarantine love stream open mic, bringing a little love and a little poetry and creativity into your homes or wherever you may be during these trying times. So thanks for tuning in. We have a great show for you tonight. Catherine Carter is our feature poet. I am so excited about this poet, Catherine Carter, wonderful poet. And we have a whole bunch of open micers as well, so we're gonna get down to it. I'm gonna kick it off right with the poetry, and then we'll get to our feature poet. Let's start it off with some words by Jane Hirschfield tonight. This is No Wind, No Rain. And it is a bit windy and rainy here in Asheville tonight, but we got the fire going. No wind, no rain. The tree just fell, as a piece of fruit does. But no, not fruit, not ripe, not fell. It broke, it shattered. One cone's addition of resinous cell sap, one small-bodied bird arriving to tap for a beetle. It shattered. What word, what act was it we thought did not matter? And these are some originals. Forest Elegy number 1. My friend told me of the 30-year-old owl whose tree died and had to be cut down. And inside the hollow of the tree, they found over 400 cat collars. This is called Johnson's Small Fruit Farm. The old man at Hump Mountain said Mr. Johnson passed away last night. He'd been sick for a while. Miss Johnson says she's done with the farm. I remember picking raspberries the size of strawberries, buckets full of blueberries, crisp apples that snapped when you bit into them. They didn't grow watermelons. No jackfruits hang in that mountain orchard. No cantaloupes. This next poem comes from my travels in Andalusia in Spain. This is called The Alhambra. Archway upon archway, fountain-reflected sunlight folds into muqarnas and arabesques. The Moors built these palaces and gardens as a replica of heaven, where the sound of water, so scarce in their world, can be heard in every corner and corridor. A constant zikr. A single feather lies on the stone floor. And I probably should have said zikr, spelled D-H-I-K-R, is a form of prayer in Islam that translates roughly as remembrance. I'll do one more, and then we'll get to our feature poet. Thank you so much for being here tonight, everyone. By the way, we do have an open mic part of the evening. There may be a space or two left on the list. But if you're performing tonight, make sure you follow that StreamYard link, enter name, and enter the broadcast studio so we know you're ready to go. And we'll get our open micers on after the feature poet. So y'all keep it locked here. It's Poetry Open Mic Asheville. This last one I'll do is called Last of the Porch Times. I move on to other porches, knowing this one was good to us. Of all the times, porch time was about relaxing and unwinding in solitude after a stretched day of work, or together, sharing the sound of our thoughts or arroyos of laughter. There was one time my roommate sat on the chair wasps had built a nest under. Their sudden swarm stung her dozens of times before she realized what it was. But the porch was good to us, though it never noticed us. Its weathered planks buckle in waves that creak underfoot. Railings leave crenellations on faces. We swayed in the porch swing, drawing closer to each other on cold nights when the mountain wind crawled the icy street and the dark trees groaned heavy. That's where I saw the wildcat that came to inhabit my dreams. I think she was trying to tell me something, but my language fails to reach across. I'll have to discover new language. I'll have to listen to the animals who have been speaking since before words. I'll have to listen from inside. How to translate a tongue I didn't realize is there without a stone to guide. We have been hearing the language all along. We can't understand what is beyond meaning. I think I know what the cat was saying. All right. Yes, indeed. Well, thanks a lot, y'all. This is Poetry Open Mic Asheville. We really appreciate the likes, comments, and shares. I see the comments already starting to come in, so y'all keep them coming, folks. We love to hear from you. All right. Next, we're going to hear from Catherine Carter. I am so excited. She is a poet I've been wanting to get on the show for a long time, and we were able to work it out this week, and I'm very excited. Not only is Catherine Carter just a stunning and necessary poet. She was also my my English teacher in college, creative writing teacher. So it's an honor. It's an honor. All right. Catherine Carter's collections of poetry with LSU Press include The Memory of Gills, The Swamp Monster at Home, and Larvae of the Nearest Stars. And that was released in 2019. Her poetry has won the North Carolina Literary Review's James Applewhite Prize, the North Carolina Literary and Historical Society's Roanoke Chowan Award, Jakar Press's Chapbook Contest, and Caldwell County Arts Council's Western North Carolina Regional Poetry Contest. It has also appeared in Best American Poetry 2009, Orion, Poetry, Ecotone, Tar River Poetry, and Plowshares, among others. Fabulous publications there. She is a professor of English at Western Carolina University. Shout out. And so without further ado, and y'all have seen the show before, you know the drill. In order to get our performers on here, you're going to have to make a whole bunch of noise. Yes, I can hear you, and I'm not hearing noise. No, wherever you are, if you're at home, or maybe in public somewhere, hopefully wearing a mask, or standing outside the Kava bar right now, getting your last drink, wherever you are, jump up and down, spin around and click your heels together, blow vuvuzela, and scream and shout and stomp and make a whole bunch of noise for Dr. Catherine Carter. Y'all give it up. Hey, Dr. Carter, so good to see you.
Hello, Caleb. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. It's such an honor to have you on Poetry Open Mic Asheville, finally, and I'm very excited you could be here. As I said, you teach at Western Carolina. You were actually my creative writing professor when I was at Western, and I'm glad they still have you there. But you've also been up to a lot of poetry. And I know you just released the book. Well, I was gonna say last year because it feels like 2019 feels like last year. We kind of skipped 2020 there in a way, or 2020 lasted forever, something like that. But yeah. So congrats on the new book. And what else have you been up to? I know you've been publishing some stuff in journals here and there.
Yes, I was lucky enough last year to appear in Rhino and Ecotone, and was it the same year? I think Tar River Review. Maybe that was the prior year.
Oh, those are great journals. Yeah,
they were just lovely.
Yeah, congrats on that, for sure.
Thank you.
And yes, indeed. So that's great. What are you working on a new manuscript at this point, or? Yes, indeed. Cool.
I am indeed. Yes.
Very cool.
Yes.
So is that what you'll be sharing some from that tonight, and I assume some of the classics as well?
I will start with that and with some of the new ones and move on to Larvae of the Nearest Stars.
Excellent. Wonderful. Well, I'm ready to hear it, and I know our viewers are. I just wanted to say, if anyone has questions for Catherine Carter, feel free to leave those in the comments, and we'll try to get to those after the reading. But everyone, sit back and enjoy some poetry from Dr. Catherine Carter. Y'all give it up one more time. Catherine Carter, y'all. Cheers.
Thank you so much, Caleb, and thank you all for being here. And I look forward to hearing the open mic. And we should definitely have one more cheer for Caleb, who has done more for the poetry community than most of us ever will. Jazz hands. The first poem is kind of a strange one. It is narrative. Most of my poems are not. And it is called Artemis and Appalachia. And as a lot of you know, Artemis was the Greek goddess of the moon and the goddess also of the hunt, the deer. And there's a famous story about a hunter, Actaeon, who happens to see her bathing. And in revenge, she turns him into a deer and his own hound dogs kill him. But there is another strange thing about Artemis. Well, there are many, but this is one. And that is that some representations of her, the ones, especially the ones we call the Artemis of Ephesus, have their chest all adorned with what look like a lot of breasts. And when I say a lot, I mean row upon row upon row, just breasts all over the place. And while the historians and the anthropologists and archaeologists have pretty well determined that they think these are not breasts, they look a lot like them. And when you take these things together, I came up with what might conceivably happen if this Artemis of Ephesus turned up in the woods around here. So this is Artemis and Appalachia. Al and Acton found her, the woman with 13 breasts lapped over chest and belly, smooth curves like stones or acorns. They were lighting for deer, bow season, sinking crescent, clear evening after late thunder. She lay curled on burnt earth in a stand of black willow and bald cypress down creek, air reeking ozone, and from the flash of their lamps they saw the return flash of deer eyes, heard the brush rustle with rabbits before they all faded back, left only a phoebe bobbing its tail. Acton wanted to try if he couldn't fetch back one of those deer, but Al said, "What's wrong with you? Come on, Act. Look here." When he touched her shoulder, she spoke in tongues or something, dazed, didn't seem to know her own name. They walked her to the pickup and bumped and jounced back to town, trying not to stare at all those tits, Acton still muttering about the deer. Another time, they would have thought hospital. But they didn't know what to make of her, lightning in breasts and all, so they headed for Otis's place. Otis had been a Marine medic, and he'd trained in Atlanta for the law and traveled some. He'd know what to do. And what Otis said was, "Boys, it's not right. One breast can send a man baying like a dog through the trees to savage some other man. Even the Greek lady on the courthouse covers them up, and she's just got two. It's too much. It's fearful somehow." Otis's old hound Blue, the one he hadn't the heart to shoot, though he couldn't run much anymore, dropped his chin on her knee, so they left her there on the rug by Blue and dug through the drawer where a girl or two had left a few things over the years and came up with a skirt and 3 bras. Not much, but worth a try. And they tried. Tried the hooks in the back, then in the front. Tugged the elastic straps down to the band of the skirt. She still seemed moonstruck. Just let them work. Al held the flowered blue and stretched as far as he could while Acton stuffed 2 breasts into 1 cup, thinking he was getting somewhere, till the first one poured right out the other side, and Al took a hook under his thumbnail like a bamboo sliver, and Otis got popped hard in the lip when the underwire split. At last they corralled 8 of those things into 3 bras. By then they were all sweating, but the lower row was still out there in front of God and everybody, when Blue raised his speckled head and put up a cry that struck them dumb and shivered the hair on their necks. While they stared like deer in headlights, every dog in town, it sounded like, broke into terrible song. "Ow, ow, no, no, no." And that lightning-struck woman with the 13 breasts drew a big breath like she'd fallen into well water, as every bra and every breast burst and rang like a big spring snapping back. She snatched up Act's compound bow where he'd dropped it on the couch and ran past them straight out the door, and Blue went bounding behind, howling like the end of the world. They took after her, Otis hollering for Blue and Acton yelling that bow had cost him $319.99, and Al getting his foot all snarled in the black bra trimmed with gold lace before he could catch up. They never saw a sign of her, and Act never did get back his bow. But in the cold dawn, Blue came limping back, red-eyed and muddy and stiff with beggar ticks. And that's the story as I heard it told, except Acton and Al got a deer each before the moon came full again. Those boys did the best they knew, and if it didn't end just right, it might have been a whole lot worse if they'd done any different. So whether it's tits or it's deer, you watch yourself. Even the dogs know there's more out there than we ever see, and 13's just plain too many. The second poem has some bluegills in it, and if you all fish, you know bluegills. They are a pretty little sunfish kind of fish that makes nests, kind of shallow, hollowed out nests. What lovely comments, thank you. The bluegills dig these little dimpled nests to incubate their eggs, and they stay over them to guard them and run off other bluegills and fan water over them and to keep the eggs oxygenated. And when they do this, they are changing the creek or the pond slightly, the way every living thing does. So this is called Bluegills Take Part in the Creation of the World. You couldn't say bluegills create the stream. Torn from the stream, they choke on blazing air. And yet, those nests, those few dozen shallow divots together, pocking the creek bottom in dimples rich with sunfish generations, changing creek bed, reshaping foundation. That steady fan flow of air over eggs settled among the pebbles, ever so slightly changing the river's braiding and unbraiding. That labor of life, that work to work with the current as it is, and yet to change it just enough to manifest a place a little better for bluegills, co-creating the world in concert with oxygen exchange. Tectonic motion, that smashed and gash-edged hubcap pinning down an immortal plastic bag. The gravity of the moon, whirligig beetles inscribing creek skin with runes written in water, whatever God you say. Flood of protesters in the street's torrent, choking on blazing air. A woman stirring cut onions over heat, changing them just enough to turn their burning tears to something a little more sweet. Fingers moving the pen, the keys, the lever, and the air and ground of our lives ever so slightly shifting in response, recreated ever so slightly anew. The fearful fact, it matters what you do. And along those lines, if you are a white person, as probably some of you are, you have probably had someone point out to you at some point that whether you meant to or not, you have said or done something that is racist. And we white people tend to take that comment very personally as a judgment on our character. But in the first place, it is not necessarily. Where racism is prevalent, it is likely that all of us fall into it at some point. And in the second place, being told this is actually kind of a gift. It is a chance to learn and to do better next time and change the world bit by bit. So I have a friend who is particularly generous with such gifts, and I wrote this largely for her. And it's got an epigraph. It's from Book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 20 in the King James Bible. And the line is, "If thine enemy hunger, feed him. If he thirst, give him drink. For in so doing, thou shalt heap coals of fire upon his head." When you tell me I'm being racist, it's a strange gift, dangerous. Eerie, too, as you pry at your chest, scoop aside hard white ribs, dark blood, and offer what you wrench free. A hot cinder, split, riven, glazed gloss black, though at the draft's touch, a flash flushes through it, glows clear vermilion, then sinks back to its wary smolder. Burn you've borne forever, but which I'm afraid to take in my bare hand, ashamed not to. Fire, which can wake cold votives into yellow stars in a house without power. Kindle a stove into warmth to cook coffee or chili or cornbread, flare into flame to light a whole world, light by which I must see you anew and this world, also myself, knowing it's going to hurt. You can't trust me to see the gift's grace, receive, let alone embrace the burning wafer. Yet you still stand, chest cleft folding slowly together as we wait to see whether I will, as you go on holding out your lifted palm, coal pulsing redder, skin beginning to smoke. Those three are, I hope, going to be in the new book. I hope there will be a new book. There is always some doubt about that in an era which is very hard on publishers. But we can but hope. And I will move over now to my most recent collection, which is called Larvae of the Nearest Stars. And they really made a very pretty cover for it, which I appreciated. So the fourth poem Some of you know I am a backyard beekeeper in a very small and fairly incompetent way. But I am not very good at building things, and it turns out that there is a lot of building in beekeeping. You have to build the boxes, the frames that hold the honey. There's a lot of nails and wood and staples and all kinds of things that I'm not very good at. So my husband, Brian Gastel, does that work, and this poem is called Spouse Assembling Honey Frames. I can keep, or fail to keep, the honeybees, can bring them water, fresh frames to hold the freight of nectar, condensed and fanned to hold heavy honey, can bear them sugar, restack them after storm, can wade into the hum of the swarm to make a desperate split to keep the bees home, can mourn them when they weaken, when they die, can bite back panic when they pierce the veil, can take the hot hair wire of the sting, the sick shiver of the spreading venom. But I can't build. Power tools stalk me with death in their red eyes. Saws cant their paired teeth up toward my foot, nails twist awry. It's he who never wanted bees, who builds the hives, the boxes with their corners clean and square, the light wood frames around the slender screens of wax foundation. Wax the bees will shape into cells and fill with honey. A drop for every 10,000 blooms stroked and ravished, almost too sweet to bear. He does what he always has, checks the details, trues up the ends, fits the pins and staples, drives the tacks, secures the fragile frames made to store a blackberry blossom, ephemeral clover, the sticky syrup of tulip poplar, sourwood's buttery gold, summer's distillation of the marriage of bee and nectary, performed anew each time in endlessly repeated celebration, to hold the great, astounding weight of all earth's mortal sweetness. And they will. And I would like to wrap up. They say, or maybe nobody says this, maybe I made this one up, that everyone needs a good werewolf poem. And so I would like to end with a werewolf poem. But if you are familiar with werewolf stories, perhaps you were Team Jacob during the Twilight years, you know that they tend to follow a certain arc. A guy gets bitten by a big dog, and then some strange symptoms emerge, and then he thinks he's going crazy while he wrestles with the animal part of himself, and then he savages some sheep and wakes up covered in blood, and then maybe he attacks a human person, and finally there's either a last-ditch cure, what you might call the Wallace and Gromit story, or some heroic soul puts an end to the werewolf, with the notable exception of Lycanthrope. But it seemed to me that it didn't necessarily have to go that way. And since we live in what is now coyote country, spoiler alert, I thought I would start by making it a were-coyote. So this is called the Lycanthrope. And this is the final poem of the batch. When the last moon of autumn pulls just below the rim of the sky, when the world begins to roll into its radiance like a dog into sun, scalp hair and arm hair stir, ruffle as if in the wind of a comet's tail, and the woman at the window lays down her spatula and knife, turns to the half-open door, crosses the whispering leaves and flat dirt as dusk eats the last colors into the woods where she sinks to the gray ground, kicks off shoes, struggles first out of jeans and then out of face and fingers, into muzzle and paw, hackle and fang, a tale that tells no lies. It's supposed to end with savage chickens, ropes of bowel, shotguns amid a clamor of hounds, that old bad story. But the truth is that she lives mostly on mice, though she won't refuse a teacup poodle. Tonight she snaps up a late squirrel, breaks its neck with her trademark shake, takes it in her jaws where she is going, to the den in the umber clay of a gully bank. There she rests in the mouth of the earth as the moon climbs the scales of cloud, crunches the spine, gnaws the skull, savors the entrails, nibbles the bony tail. She is only Coyote now, returning where the wolves were driven out, stealthier, lower, less glamour, more craft. When she is poisoned or shot, there'll be others, shadows, sisters and nieces, all yellow tan, scrawny, brush-tailed. The squirrel is small, but sustains her for now. The men with the guns don't know where she is, much less how this happened. But there was never a monster, an infection, a terrible change. No one bit her. She's always been this way. So I saw Candy Bottorff in the audience, and Candy, maybe that's you. Maybe you are a were-coyote and nobody knows. So thank you all so much for coming and listening, and I'll turn it back to Caleb, and we'll hear some open mic.
Thank you, Dr. Carter. Beautiful reading. Wow. I love your new work. Fantastic stuff. Yeah. Let's see. I know we have some comments, and did we have any questions for the feature poet? I did want to say I love that you keep bees. I did know that about you, and I love that. I don't know.
Well, they don't like me very much. They're
I just think that's cool. There's I see that is it just me, or are there a lot of like bee themed poetry books and bee poems in poetry? Is it?
I can think of a couple.
Something going on there. I mean, there's a few out there. I don't know.
Keith Flynn's is called Colony Collapse, I think, and
right?
Yeah, it's
Colony
a syndrome.
Collapse. Yeah, mm-hmm. Absolutely. And Nick Flynn also wrote a book about beekeeping called Blind Huber, I think.
Blind Huber.
Yeah.
There are Hubers in your audience tonight.
I know. I'm so thrilled. That's one of my favorite families ever.
Hi, Hubers.
Yes. Hey, Hubers. Yay. Well, I'm excited to get to that. I don't. Oh no, we're not gonna do that. What was Caleb like as a student?
He was a great
not
student.
To answer.
How could you doubt it? He was a stellar student.
Thank you. Cool. Yes, indeed. I think just a lot of favorable comments. No questions per se. Maybe some requests in there, but that's all right. Yeah, we'll have to have you back on and read some more sometime, because it seems like everyone really liked it.
You have only to call. I am honored to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Carter. It's such a pleasure, and good luck with everything. Good luck with landing the new book, and oh yes, and before we go, I want to encourage everyone to buy the books. Dr. Carter has 3 books out. Of course, the newest one is Larvae of the Nearest Stars, which and you can actually buy these at citylightsnc.com if you want to support local. City Lights in Silva is a fantastic bookstore. And you can buy Dr. Carter's books through City Lights, and I think you can even get a signed one through City Lights. So there's that, and then here's the direct links for the other books. The Swamp Monster at Home. I love that the link says Swamp Creature at Home.
What can you do?
What can you do? And the Memory of Gills, of course. Yes. Fantastic books, fantastic reading. Thank you so much, Dr. Carter, and we'll hopefully have you back on soon.
Thank you.
Excellent. Y'all give it up one more time for Catherine Carter.
How do you do this?
That is actual recorded applause from our in-person poetry open mic here in Asheville. Yes, we have a good time here on Wednesday nights. Wonderful. And we've got a whole bunch of amazing open mic performers coming at you. So y'all keep it locked right here to Poetry Open Mic Asheville, live from Asheville, North Carolina. Our sponsor, Sovereign Kava. My name's Caleb Beissert, your host. Our technical director tonight's Morgan Beissert. And our featured poet was Catherine Carter. Y'all buy the books. And we'll get those links posted in the comments as well. So y'all can just click on them and check it out. Very good. Okay. Excellent. And thank you everyone so much for the wonderful comments. It's so good to see the comments pouring in. Y'all keep them coming. We'd love to hear from you. Beat poets. I like that. Oh, the little things that make me happy. All right, very good. All right, we're up, we're warmed up now. All right, y'all ready to do some open mic? We got open micers in the house. Up next, we're gonna go to Lee Stockdale, and then we have some Hubers coming at you. Jason, and Ashley are here. Then we got our friend Christopher G. George on the mic, Justin Blackburn. We got Mark Hudson in the house, maybe KJ. And I know we got, I think we have a few other people signed up too. So, of course, if you signed up, make sure to follow that StreamYard link into the broadcast studio so we know you're ready to go, and we'll get you on air just like this. Everyone out there, give it up and make a whole bunch of noise for Lee Stockdale here in Asheville. Joining us from Asheville tonight. Make some noise. All right, Lee. How you doing tonight?
Good, Caleb. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. You know, I'm doing what I love to do, reading poetry with wonderful people. So
yes, Catherine was wonderful. I love thinking about her beekeeping. My wife was a beekeeper, but Catherine's got a better husband because I never made any of the bee boxes.
You didn't build any
for my wife, so he's a keeper, Catherine.
Well, it's true. It's true. I actually know her husband, Dr. Gastel. Yeah, so that's true. Keeper.
Yeah, that's a keeper.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Lee, did you bring some poems for us tonight?
Yes,
what do you have for
a
us?
poem and I have a song, Caleb. I've got my harmonica standing by, so I'm going to do a poem and a song. I'm going to do a song, a poem actually that I read yesterday at a birthday party, a small get together. So I figured, it's kind of birthday-ish, so it's kind of for a birthday, so kind of.
Oh, that works. My birthday was last week.
Hey, man, this is
it's
your
birthday season.
Poem. It's your birthday poem.
Thanks, Lee.
All right, man.
All right. I'll turn it over to you. Y'all give it up for Lee Stockdale.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Topography. Go west, young man, in a wagon covered with candied yams that pour like syrup. The Colorado for Lewis and Clark. You pick strawberries at the height of summer, converging population at the mouth of Destiny's main facility, West Territory Assembly Line. So sweet your feet want to dance barefoot as mother in bonnet for the High Chaparral corrals buffalo for Wild Bill in a land of milk flowing black dirt, honey. From Plymouth Rock and Harvard and Yale, trumpets blare prairie horns, tintype children with bright orange, cat's eyes marbles, rough glassed, dust bowl, windswept, swapped out, blessed, too bored to enjoy the topography, great spirit rocketeers on red discus, whir in with saints unmartyred, not yet stoned to death for future furniture, with hearts embossed on a tape loop mantra to be up the down staircase diaphanous frogs, roustabouts, click-clack toward new beginnings, outcropping happy harvest, moons that crash daylights, gnashing lips and sing Beach Boys songs from a Florida Keys stinging bees sunset walk, from the great Mississippi that impersonates Saul to the Golden Gate Bridge. It's a long road to Damascus. Grab any available ocean liner. He captains the aim to steer pigeons for progress. America, closer to Europe, where ancestors on the banks of La Havre throw flowers. Come home. We are with you. We were never against you. We will discontinue the bullfights and pornographic films. And then this is called Changed. And there's a lot of change going on. I woke up this morning and something had changed. The birds were singing a different tune. The sun in the east was rearranged. The sky was a bluer shade of blue. Yesterday I was in such a hurry. Hurrying up with nowhere to go. It took her love to settle me down. Now her love's the only thing I know. Something has changed. Something has changed. Something has changed. You're the reason, don't you go. Who that knocking upon my door? I ain't gonna be like what before. Got that familiar frown on his face. Don't you know you got the wrong place? Making me out to be a person of interest. Nobody's got my interest me. Can't you see things have changed? I'm stone cold sober in a monkey tree. Woke up this morning, something changed. Birds were singing a different song. Sun, where there used to be rain. Before she came, my life was all wrong. Something has changed. Something has changed. Something has changed. You're the reason. You're the reason. You're the reason. Now, don't you go. Now, don't you go. Now, don't you go. Now, don't you go. It has changed. I don't know what. Maybe people can sense it. I don't know. All right. Thank you. Have a great night.
All right. Thank you very much, Lee.
Thank
Always
you,
good to hear
man.
from you, man. Thanks for stopping by tonight.
Hey, man. Great to see you. Thanks so much, Caleb.
Absolutely. We'll see you again soon.
See you
Y'all
later,
give it up
man.
one more time for
Be
Lee
good.
Stockdale. Thank you, Lee.
Thank you.
Very good. All right. We are rocking and rolling here. This is Poetry Open Mic Asheville. And you are tuned in thank you to Sovereign Kava, our sponsor, for keeping this open mic going. They are open for to-go orders only. Masks required. Noon to 9 every day. But you also, if you're performing tonight, you have a free double of Kava waiting on you at the bar as a thank you from us. So go by and pick that up. Just tell them you performed on the open mic. All right, we're gonna keep rolling here. Thanks again to our featured poet tonight. We have some comments here. I want to make sure we blast the comments because we love hearing from y'all. Y'all keep the comments coming. Indeed. See, I love these things. I love it. Y'all keep the comments coming. Please do. Please. Yes. Oh, it's in there somewhere. You know. He found it. All right. Y'all keep it locked here. It's Poetry Open Mic Asheville. We got some more fantastic performers coming at you tonight. Cool. We got some Hubers coming up next. Jason's here. Jason Ashley. I don't know. I've been playing music with Jason for years. He's done the open mic, a bunch of times, the in-person open mic, and hell, it's good as hell to see him here in the virtual realms. Y'all make a whole bunch of noise for Jason Hubert. Give it up!
Oh, golly. I'm in the show. Haha!
You're in the show. You're live on the air, Jason.
Crazy. How did I end up here?
That's
Not
what
much,
you keep clicking around on Facebook long enough, you'll end up on a live poetry open mic, you know?
Yeah. That or 5 hours of America's Got Talent. Right?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
My YouTube rabbit holes are pretty drastic, but I must say I desperately miss the Kava bar, right? I wish I was sitting in an indoor gazebo right now.
Right?
I am drinking Kava, though.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Back AGO
cool.
will deliver this stuff to you, which is great. And I get to have my cat. So
yes.
She's
What's
very
the cat's
happy about
name?
being here right now. This is Rosie. She's tiny.
Rosie. Hey, Rosie. Cool. We love having cats on the air. See, the cat's already getting comments. So always a plus to have a cat in your set.
It's true. It's true. That's the art with the cat.
Yep. Anyway, what do you have for us? You're a person of many talents. You're a musician, a poet, a prose writer, a professor now, right?
A professor at WCU. Well, an instructor at WCU. So,
close enough. I'm gonna call you professor anyway.
I have wholly depressing fiction for everybody.
Yay!
Fits the time. Yeah. Another plug for Catherine Carter. I don't mean to brag, but I have an officially signed copy of The Swamp Monster right there.
You want it? Yeah. Oh man. Oh yeah.
You got a signature
I got it signed too.
Hey, all right.
Hey, you want to trade copies?
What did she write on yours? Because
I'm not telling. Can't read it.
Fair enough.
Listening, hosting, and writing. I wonder when this was. Anyway, trip down memory lane. I love it.
On mine, she wrote, Thanks, Jason, for showing up. I like you almost as much as Caleb. So I don't know why she had to put that in there, but
you know,
I kid.
Poets. Yes. Cheers. Very good. Okay. Well, all right. So you have some wholly depressing fiction for us?
Yes, indeed.
All right. Hold on. More comments for the cat. Sorry.
Okay.
Got to make sure we get to these.
Fair enough.
Okay. Looking for cat emoji. All right, it's in there. All right, we're gonna turn it over to Jason now for the for some fiction. Y'all make a whole bunch of noise for our friend Jason Huber. Give it up.
Yeah. This is wild. Okay, so this does not have a title, as I have recently written on it. I'm still putting some polish on it. It's got an epigraph from Roald Dahl's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I've heard tell that what you imagine sometimes comes true. That's Grandpa Joe. That's $12.50, the cashier says. Her outstretched hand is covered in a plastic glove which is only slightly more transparent than the skin underneath. The man, at least 20 years her junior, holds out his card without acknowledgement. He's been staring at the young women going about their shopping, unaware of the machinations of his middle-aged mind. Credit or debit? She asks, concealing her contempt for the 50th time today. What? He turns his head back. She sees a void where human interaction should be, and he sees an annoyance. Credit is fine, he says in the opposite direction as his eyes have already turned to follow another young woman. He's missed this. Shopping and sightseeing. He wonders how the whole country lost their balls. He imagines what it would be like if he were in charge, an emperor among sheep. Here's your card. Have a good day. The cashier waits once again with an outstretched hand. What? Your card. Don't get snippy. You're muffled with that damn mask. He takes a sharp breath. The intake of air is quickly followed by an errant glob of spit trying to find its way into his lungs. He turns his face away from the counter and coughs violently. Cover your face, another customer says. Fuck you, he responds. He grabs his card and his chocolate and makes sure to clear his throat a few more times on his way out. I'm sorry, but we ask that you wear a mask for everybody's safety, the cashier says, blocking the doorway. I shop here all the time, says the emperor as he pushes his way through. The old woman stares in disbelief at him. He begins inspecting boxes of chocolate as though nothing had happened. Her shoulder hurts from leaning into the door trying to keep him out. She can feel the angry heat in her neck and at the base of her skull. You can't be in here without a mask, sir. Well, let me buy this and I'll get out of your way. He holds a box of salted caramels inches from her face. She feels alone. Although the shop is far from empty, the customers work hard to notice the shelves in front of them. Weighing her options, she relents and gets behind the register. That's $12.50. She holds out her hand. It's shaking from fatigue and anger. He pulls a card from his wallet and tosses it on the counter. Credit is fine. She finishes the transaction and carefully hands the card back to him. Here's your card. Have a good day. Was that so hard? He snaps the card from her hand, grabs his box, and walks out. Let me in. The emperor is standing outside of the chocolate shop. The door is locked. The old woman stands on the other side. You fucking bitch, he continues, staring down at her resolve. Sir, you can't come in. Please come back with a mask and we'll be happy to serve you. She's shouting through the door while customers try their best to ignore what's happening. His face is inches from the glass, but his intimidation is trumped by a locked door. He slams his palms on the glass before giving up, and the cashier feels the hollow of her stomach fall to the ground. A minute later, there's a charming young couple at the door, and both of them are wearing masks. 1 second. She picks her stomach up and forces her shoulders down. She leans herself into the door and turns the lock. The leverage makes a heavy sound out of the small deadbolt. Hold, says a voice that's too far away to be polite. Hold the door. She's already started back into the shop. If she waits behind to lock the door, the old lines on her face would lose their candy shop novelty. She turns to see the charming young man holding it open. Thank you. The emperor pulls his t-shirt over his face as he squeezes through. He holds it there until the other customers decide not to notice. He walks to a stack of clear boxes. Each one holds a shoe made out of chocolate. He waits for her attention and rests his hands on top of the display. A kitten heel wobbles and falls. The anger in her neck and shoulders turns to fear in her chest. "Do I need to pay for that?" he says in her direction. The young man can tell that something is wrong, but can't figure out the decent thing to do, so him and his partner leave the shop. Other customers follow suit. She picks up the shoe while the Emperor hovers over her. He waits for her to make eye contact and pulls his shirt back over his mouth. She feels the weight of her lungs in her chest. "No? Well, I'll get what I came here for." A box of candied fruits and a package of chocolate-covered espresso beans. His face is uncovered as he shuffles for his wallet and carefully hands over his card. The fear in her chest moves to her bladder, and she doesn't speak. He pulls hard on the door to shut it on his way out. There's a sign in the window that says, "We support local businesses." It's new. The sun is going down, and she hears the chanting from a few blocks over. "Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter!" The synchronous chant is interrupted every few beats by, "All lives matter!" She swears she heard someone say, "White Lives Matter!" She hopes those voices are drowned out by the sheer size of the protest. She would be there too, but the crowd would swallow her. The weight of the night follows every outward breath as though her lungs would rather be empty. And it's a long march to her car. She finds a live stream on Facebook when she gets home to watch the protest. The street looks like some distant country where war zones exist. Police in riot gear fire rubber bullets. The streamer picks one up and it looks more like a grenade. Blood, smoke, screaming, flashing lights. The camera shakes like a horror movie until it settles further away from the crowd. Police drive by, imposing white men with guns who say they're there to keep the peace. They were invited. She recognizes one of them. The Emperor is dressed like a dollar store soldier, the barrel of his rifle swinging between his legs. His finger is on the trigger. She reminds herself to breathe, but she's still dizzy. The streamer wades back into the crowd, closer to the fire station now. "Black Lives Matter!" There's a row of riot shields taking a knee opposite the chanting. "Black Lives Matter!" There's a white man between the protesters and police trying to pick out "Give Peace a Chance" on a beat-up guitar, ignoring directives from both sides. "Black Lives Matter!" The riot shields stand. Their faces have been replaced with gas masks, their arms with tear gas canisters. Another white man in a Hawaiian shirt tosses something from the distance. The 4th of July is followed by "White Lives Matter!" White Lives Matter sparks between the lines. The riot shields move forward, a Spartan cry every 5 steps through the imposed chaos, swinging batons, gunshots. She's not ready to see people die so close to home. "It's entirely made of chocolate," she says, standing over a beach scene. "No," a young girl responds. "The sand, the shells, even the driftwood." The girl pulls at the lid on the display case. "Don't touch." There's a steady stream of fingerprints requiring constant attention. The shop's limited space is filled with tourists escaping the high numbers in Florida. "We're glad you're open. It's all closed back home." Meanwhile, the numbers continue to climb in both places. The door is unguarded as 3 men enter. They're strapped with safety blankets of various calibers. The old woman spots a familiar swinging, and her mouth fills with sand. The men are given a wide berth that they confuse with respect. "We require masks," she says. Her voice carries only as far as her own ears. "In February, they do strawberries." The Emperor points at a case of chocolate-covered fruits. "Carol goes nuts for them." He's holding court. The Emperor who wears no mask. The other 2 respond with affirming sounds. "We ask that you please cover your face." She steps around the display. "Oh, I like the Mountain Surprise." They're at a case of truffles now. "It's got orange liquor in it. Give me the boozy ones." "Oh yeah, I'm not big on truffles though," a bearded man responds. "Masks. You need masks." Her lungs are empty. The words are cast from the remnants of her breath. What was that? The bearded man turns to face her. Mask, she says. Please. She reaches for the display case to hold herself up, as though she's smothered by the weight of her request. I got this beard. Yeah, it keeps out the Ronas, he says, while tugging at the hair on his chin. Spit and laughter fly from his lips as he turns back to the case. No! The fear in her fire. The fear is fire in her belly. Her voice is hot. What the fuck? We require masks. Louder now as she struggles to temper herself. Please. Fuck you, lady. No. Hotter now. Get out. I'm not going anywhere. Free country. The store stares in disbelief as the old woman summons something bigger than herself. Out! She stands tall. I will call the police. I saved this whole fucking place last night. He grabs the gun at his hip. Thugs would have torn it down. The muzzle of salvation is pointed at her chest, and nothing else exists. I might as well be the police. Hey, man, the Emperor speaks. Suddenly, the voice of reason. Not funny. Not laughing. The man responds. The fear is water in her eyes, blurring her vision. She's sweating and shaking. I'm tired of this shit, he says. Steps forward, muzzle to her breast. Disrespectful. Put it away. The Emperor grabs him by the shoulder. Let it go, he says. She's somebody's grandma. The value of adjacency. Fine. The barrel drops to the ground. Or I fucking shoot her. The gun raised, a hard pull on his shoulder, followed by a squeeze of the trigger. The fear is an earthen hole dug through her chest. Copper, lead, and iron find a home in the chocolate sand behind her. What the fuck? The Emperor screams through the taste of tin and chocolate in his mouth. Chorus of voices chime in. Oh shit, call somebody. She's not responding. What the fuck? The Emperor screams at the man who's running out the door. Did anybody see where he went? Stay with us. What the fuck? The Emperor is the absence of disease and death. Call an ambulance. She's not responding. What do I do? What the fuck? He's somebody's grandson. Call a fucking ambulance. Don't close your eyes. The police are on their way. What the fuck? That's it. Thank you. You guys are awesome.
Wow. What?
Like I said.
Yeah, but what a stunning piece. I mean, what a piece that really captures a moment, a place in time there.
Yeah, we'd rather forget, I'm sure.
But. Yes, but I mean, hopefully, in the same respect, we never forget.
Yeah.
So yeah. Thank you for sharing that, man. That's really good.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, yeah. And I hope you can make it back again sometime soon. We're here every Wednesday night, virtually.
Well, now that I've made the trip once, I feel like I can make it again. Get out of
there. Yeah. See, it's super easy. You just click some things and you're on. So.
I can still be agoraphobic and like present in front of people. That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Very good, Jason. Well, hey, please, much love, man. Give my love to your family, and y'all take care. It's really good to see you. Hopefully, we'll all get together in person before.
Yes, indeed. I look forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, cool. Everyone, give it up one more time for Jason Huber. Yes, and you're tuned into Poetry Open Mic Asheville. My name's Caleb Beissert, your host, and our technical director tonight's my brother Morgan Beissert, and our sponsor is Sovereign Kava, the good old Kava bar here in Asheville. Don't forget, if you perform tonight, you got a free double waiting on you at the Kava bar. Just be sure and wear a mask. Yes, just do it. All right. Wear 2 masks now, they're saying. Hey. Better safe than sorry. Cool, folks. We're gonna keep it rolling here. We got some more Huber action coming at you. Oh, I want to make sure we get to our comments because we love hearing from you out there. Please keep the comments coming. We have a whole bunch of comments here for Jason. Want to make sure we blast those. So y'all, please keep the comments coming. We love hearing from you. Fiction. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Very good. Oh, that's my dad. Shout out to my dad. In Palm Desert, California. What's up out there? Oh, yes. Yeah, we love that. Everyone loved that. Very good. Thank you, Jason. All right, cool. We got another Huber coming at you right now. Y'all still gonna have to make a whole bunch of noise and jump up and down, scream and shout and spin around and, all that stuff. Blow the trumpets, scream. It's Ashley Huber in the house next. Y'all give it up. Hey, Ashley.
Hello.
Hey, it's so good to
Hi.
see you.
It's nice to see you. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing open mic with my friends, so I'm great right now.
Yeah.
And it's good to see you. How have you been?
I have 2 little ones, so I have been busy.
Indeed. Yeah.
There is no slowing down over here, so.
Right. Well, that's great. That's great. And what'd you bring tonight? Some poetry or
Well, I had a few things, but I got some dental work today. And so I'm gonna read one, and that's probably gonna be it for me because my mouth's giving me a little bit of trouble. But I wanted to make sure I at least I gave you one. So, and just like Jason, since I've take the step over to the virtual world.
Indeed.
Yeah. The first is always the hardest.
Right. So yeah, I hope you'll come back and read more in the future, but I'm so glad you have one for us tonight. And I'll turn it over to you now.
All right.
But yeah, thanks for being here. Y'all give it up for Ashley Huber.
This is called Wonderland. Allie lost her soft velvet slipper. Ground gave, started falling quicker. Watching the hole get bigger. Passing windows where candles flicker. Eyes grew to peer through. Allie couldn't believe. A pregnant wife, living a fearful life, with a drunk sniffing her hair. Her cooking dinner, all of a sudden, a fist out of nowhere. Allie sure it was a fake, not awake, just a hope she had to shake. Coming closer, a dormer. Inside, an owner, clearly a lot older, dressed as a soldier. Pressed against his temple, a sorrow felt so deeply. Hands with strength and tremble. Allie knew she was mental. Plummet what seemed 100 of warm kisses, now wound up a hole in a black hole, watching souls pushed around. Sinking feeling starting again. Out of the dark, a house Allie remembers, barking from Frank, joy that shrank. Mother said blue, like bird feathers, made the world better. Allie stirred, foggy and blurred. She was here, not here. Fear as she began to see the rest. Not only the pretty little dress. Allie whimpers lips pursed, the splendid velvet slippers that were perfect for her. That's it for me tonight.
Yay! That was great. Thank you, Ashley. Yeah. Thank you so much, and I hope you rest up. I hope your mouth feels better and all that. And please do come back and share some more poetry
Yeah,
with us. It's always
definitely.
great to have you on. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, y'all give it up one more time for Ashley. Thanks, Ashley. Yay. Yes, indeed. You've got it locked here to Poetry Open Mic Asheville, coming at you from Asheville, USA. And my name's Caleb Beissert, of course. Our sponsor, Sovereign Kava. Check them out here in Asheville. And we got some more open micers coming at you. I do want to thank our feature poet again, Catherine Carter, and make sure y'all check out her books, which you can get at City Lights and Silva. They'll ship them. And then we have some comments for Ashley here. Want to make sure we get to those. Wonderful. Lots of comments. Y'all keep the comments coming. We love hearing from you. We love it. Yeah. Wonderful first poem on the mic. Very good. Of course, Ashley's done the in-person open mic before, but it's good to be with y'all here in the virtual realms. And we're going to keep it going indefinitely here. We'll see. We'll be back here next week, that's for sure. And these are the other links to our Future Poets books, so check those out. Indeed, indeed. We're going to keep it rolling here. Because up next, we have Christopher T. George, a fabulous poet, joining us all the way from Delaware tonight. So y'all gonna have to make a lot of noise for them to hear us over in Delaware. So give it up, scream and shout, and make a lot of noise for Christopher T. George. Greetings,
Hey, Caleb.
Christopher.
Greetings
Hi,
to
hi.
you.
Indeed, and how are you doing this evening?
All right. You got snow down there?
It's just raining right now. They say there's
Oh, really?
supposed to be
Okay.
some snow later tonight, maybe. We'll see. It was 60 degrees, 65 or something earlier today,
Really?
and it was beautiful, and then it's gonna be going down to 20 something tonight, and and snowing. So
Okay.
the weather's very confused here.
Yeah, right. Well, we were
But-
supposed to get snow a couple of days ago, but it didn't come. We just got a little bit of rain, so we haven't had any for weeks. So whether we'll get through the winter without having some, I don't know. There's maybe some coming at the weekend, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But you're supposed to get snow in winter there, right?
Well, yeah, usually, yeah.
Yeah.
In the old days.
In the old days, I know the weather. I know that at least when I moved to the mountains here, the winters were a bit more predictable.
Yeah.
And now we get these 70-degree days in January,
Hmm.
which I don't remember seeing that before,
But there's no climate change.
so some say, yes.
Yeah.
But hey, at least we are back in the Paris Agreement and the Keystone Pipelines next, and so there, I think there's some hope on the horizon for
Right, we're
finally
being
getting
a bit more sensible, and we're joining the world again instead of going off on our own and doing stupid things.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Well, cheers to that.
Yep.
Wonderful. Will you have some poems for us tonight, Christopher?
I do. I'm going to start off with a poem from this book, The Liverpool Scene. Pop poetry and interviews recorded live along the Mersey beat. Edited by Edward Lucy Smith. So
Along the
begin with
Mersey.
Yeah.
Very nice. Cool. So a little something from. Oh, by the way, Christopher comes from Liverpool,
Yep.
right there along the Mersey. So, so this is some. Did you know some of these poets, or
Yeah,
what's your connection to this?
yeah, I met a number of the Liverpool poets, and specifically from this book, there were three poets: Adrian Henry, Roger McGough, and Brian Patton. And especially Adrian became a good friend of mine. He was still living in Liverpool. The other guys had gone down to London, but I met all three of them and attended a big poetry reading at the Royal Albert Hall that included Allen Ginsberg and a number of the big English poets. And yeah, so, you know,
Wonderful.
it was... yeah, and was able to go backstage and then to the Chelsea Arts Club afterwards. So it's great.
Oh, that sounds amazing. What I would have given to be there. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
That's a fascinating perspective. I'll go ahead and turn it over to you for the poetry.
Okay.
But our friends out there, give it up for Christopher T. George.
Okay. Going to begin with this poem called Party Piece by Brian Patton. He said, "Let us stay here now that this place has emptied and make gentle pornography with one another. While the party goers go out and the dawn creeps in like a stranger. Let us not hesitate over what we know and over how cold this place has become. But let's unclip our minds and let tumble free the mad, mangled crocodiles of love." So they did, right there among the woodbines and Guinness stains. And later he caught a bus, and she a train, and all there was between them was rain. Although I was born in Liverpool and went back to Liverpool in the 60s, I came to Baltimore and lived there age 7, went back to Liverpool in the 60s and became part of the Baltimore poetry scene on coming back. I'm going to read a poem by a late Baltimore poet called Debbie Bendit. True Confessions. In the first scene, Oscar Peterson makes love to his piano. I am allowed to observe. My heart speed accelerates. I try to join in. The couple sitting next to me hold hands. I'd like to hold hands too. I cannot connect. I lose my balance. Even my poems are acts of isolation. Until Oscar Peterson reads me. He sees me shining in tears. In the last scene, Oscar Peterson makes love to me. He likes my style. We're hotter than Africa. And this is a poem by me about Debbie. The cropped black hair, the boyish Belson skull, yet you laughed despite the pain, the loneliness. When the announcement was made, the words flowed meaninglessly, lumps of lead spilling on the floor, limp flowers strapped to the pillars. Looks like a wake, I'd said. How could I know? Would a phone call have made the difference? Inside one's joy lives all the pain of others. As I drove home, the moon was slung white and cruel in the January night. A blue cast bathed the construction vehicles, the yet unopened expressway. I thought, they're paving over the world. All right. Back in Liverpool, Man in the park. My two short-trousered mates ran when the young man called out to us, more experienced than I was, afraid of fireworks, the sea. He stood head bent by the rusty fence, ginger brill-creamed hair, stink of cologne, flashy tie. With a low voice, he coaxed me to touch, like milking a cow. Somehow my parents knew. I lay across my bed, felt the sting of Daddy's belt. I'd thought evil was ugly trolls under bridges, not guys with gaudy ties, stinking cologne. I learned later that blokes preyed on children in parks, in local alleys. I'd been warned about strangers, but no one told me what they'd do to me. The copper said, "Tell me in your own words." A boy should tell the truth. Rusty railings, poplars, where I hunted caterpillars. I took a class with NPR commentator and poet Andrei Codrescu in the night school at Johns Hopkins University. This is called A Game of Chess, Perhaps, and begins with a quote from Codrescu. Poetry is not a game of chess. The poet has to do with everything in the world. This is the poetry workshop instructor, Codrescu, a man sipping a Coke. And these are Codrescu's students asking, how can we free our constipated selves? How can we write? Codrescu just shrugs. But look, here are Codrescu's required readings. Sons of Ginsberg, Sons of O'Hara, poets running howling down city sunless alleyways, hoping the skyscrapers will catch the lightning of their words. Let me finish with this one. This comes from a poetry reading that I attended at an art gallery in Hamden, Baltimore. It's called Schadenfreude Afternoon for James Arthur and Haley Lighthouser. It just isn't right. Composing in his head while hiking, publishing in poetry, The New Yorker, at his tender age, reciting his Gorilla Mask poem with a beatific smile, fuck you, with a waterfront view. And the view from the upstairs art gallery, where the featured poets read their works, rank on rank of row houses, rolling down to the Baltimore Harbor, to Camden Yards, the Bromo Tower, oh, the Baltimore, oh, the cramped garret where Poe wrote, but no more, no more. I can only hurry to try to catch up, older poet stumbling over the carefully typed words of my World War I Bosque Per poem. But he nods to me kindly when he references that carnage in his Back in the Day poem. Young poet with serene smile, his poet mask on, alluding to thoughts of suicide, hooves in the Rubicon. Thanks, Caleb.
Thank you, Christopher. Great stuff there. I enjoyed hearing that Liverpool poem and your own work as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure having you, and I hope to see you next time.
Yep.
All
I'll be here.
Excellent. Y'all give it up one more time for Christopher T. George, all the way from Delaware tonight. Make some noise. Thank you, Christopher. Indeed. And, of course, You're tuned into Poetry Open Mic Asheville. Coming at you live from Asheville, of course. Anyway, it's been a great night. We had Catherine Carter as our featured poet. We have a few more performers on the open mic. And I'll close things out with a little set of poetry as usual. But of course, you can catch us here each and every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, U.S. And we look forward to hearing from you. You can join in from anywhere in the world as long as you have a somewhat decent internet connection. So, anyway, we're going to keep it rolling for you tonight. I do want to get to the comments, though. We have some comments here for Christopher. Yes, indeed. And, yes, good stuff here from Christopher. Thanks, Zen. Zen is another great poet and inventor and animator now. All kinds of... wears many hats. Many hats that do many different things electronically and literally and figuratively. All right. Cool. Yes. Thank you for the comments. Y'all keep the comments coming. Oh, come on. Thank you, Zen. Yes, indeed. Let's see. Up next, we have Mark Hudson and another one of our fantastic open mic performers, regulars here from Asheville. We also have Justin Blackburn up after that, I think. And Emilia Maldonado. And I don't think KJ can make it tonight, unfortunately. Hopefully we can get you connected next time, KJ. Would love to hear from you. But we do have Mark connected, and we'll get, if anyone else is performing tonight, and we do have a space or two left, if anyone else wants to jump in, follow that StreamYard link that we'll have posted in the comments. Just click on that. Enter your name as it will appear on screen, and oh, you can't see the pointer. Okay. And so yeah, enter your name as it appear on screen and click enter the broadcast studio, and we'll get you on here as soon as possible. Thank you so much for riding with us. My name's Caleb Beissert. It's an honor and a pleasure to host this for you. Oh yeah, and our theme music is by the Kava tones. Just thought I'd make sure I mention everything. Also, thanks to everyone who came to our poetry cabaret shows this past weekend. Those might be available for on-demand view. We'll see. We'll get a link posted to that as well. You can check out ASHEVILLEFringe.org. And also, I'll be giving a reading tomorrow night for Carolina poets and their Poetry Goes Viral series at 7 p.m. Check that out. That's live on Facebook at Carolina Poets. Check them out. Great readings there. All right, let's get Mark beamed in here, because Mark always has something weird and wonderful and fantastic for us. So I'm happy to have Mark on the show. Oh yeah, and there's the StreamYard link if anyone needs it. But y'all jump up and down, make a whole bunch of more noise, scream and shout, and take your hats off for Mr. Mark Hudson. What's up, Mark?
Hey man, how's it going?
Pretty good. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm feeling pretty good. I went on a sweet run yesterday. Got the endorphins flowing. So, yeah.
Hell yeah. You know, that's good, man. I've been doing, doing some bike riding. I do my little like yoga and Tai Chi thing out there on the deck.
Yeah.
And like, man, it feels good, man.
You gotta move.
I'm digging it. I know, man. I kind of like have been like, sitting at home so much over the past year has put a little more emphasis on that for me. So that's been one of the silver linings, I guess.
Yeah. It's like, okay, what do I really need for my happiness?
Right? Yeah, I know. I mean, I guess it's important to have the time to like think about and explore those things.
Yeah, especially here, man. There's so much good nature to get out there and like breathe the fresh greens.
I know. I can't imagine being like stuck in like a high rise in like New York or something like during all this, like I am really fortunate to be here in Asheville where we can, drive 15 minutes and be in complete wilderness.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's nice. So that's good. I also, I get a lot of inspiration from that too, I think. For my art.
Totally. Man.
If I'm staring at the page for too long, it's good to go out and like stare at some trees or some mountains or something,
hear those birds.
That helps. Yeah, buddy. Yes, indeed. Well, what did you Mark does all kinds of stuff like haiku, palindromes, speeches, impersonations. What am I missing? I mean,
that's sometimes
that's a lot of it.
I'll sing some old shit from musicals that I used to be in, and I went to Western Carolina as well.
Wait, what? Did we never talk about this?
We have never had this conversation.
That. Yeah. Cool.
I graduated
fellow alumnus.
Were you there in 2009?
2009. Yes. I graduated in 2009.
Dude, what?
What?
We graduated the same year.
Did we like know each other? Because when you started coming to the open mic, I always thought you looked really familiar. I'm like, I know this guy from somewhere, man.
Dude,
that would be really funny if we probably like had a class together or something.
That is crazy, man. That is crazy. Because I heard you say that she was your professor, and I'm like,
yeah.
What? He's not that much. He's not older. He's not. Wait, how old are we? What?
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude. Yeah, I was there when I was so lucky we got Terrence Mann to come in because we had that beautiful brand new theater, FPAC, down there at the time.
Oh yeah.
And so they needed, that's like a huge, massive theater. And at the time, the theater program was not able to fill that amount of seats. So so they had to bring in this incredible Broadway performer. And so this guy really changed up the program a lot and like taught us some really incredible stuff.
Way cool. And that you studied theater there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I was English.
Man. We probably pass each other in the halls on a regular basis.
Yeah. Well, I was in the fine arts a lot. I did stuff with I performed with the Gamelan ensemble, and I took some art classes because that's connected to the art building, right?
Man, there's a funny story about how I streaked when before what was that cafeteria that they tore down? It was near Leatherwood.
Oh no, that was the cool one. Damn, I don't remember the name of them. Yeah, but right by Leatherwood. Yeah, they go.
I'll tell you about this crazy story at another time. How I streaked during one of the late night exam breakfasts.
All right. We're gonna have to catch up about this sometime, man. It sounds like we got a lot to catch up about.
Oh man, the memories.
I love it.
Oh, they're coming back. All right. Let me get going here. I got some poems. I got some original ones. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna do some soliloquies, some random ass Shakespeare soliloquies.
Soliloquies.
Cool. So yeah. I got some interesting things.
All right, cool, man. Well, I'll hand it over to you, Mark. But thanks for being here, and everyone out there, make a whole shit ton of noise for WCU alum Mark Hudson.
God, I was actually the mascot for a couple semesters too. I dressed up as Paws before Paws got a makeover. Oh my goodness. Woo! Okay, all right. Let's get serious. So this first poem I'm going to read is from Carl Shapiro. It's from this book I like to take stuff from that Keith Flynn wrote, which is it's got a bunch of really good stuff in here. Dodson, yeah, it was Dodson. Oh my God. I got up on that second level. Okay. I'm not going to tell that story yet. And another time and another place, I will tell that epicness. Okay. This is Carl Shapiro, and it's called "Lower the Standard." That's my motto. Lower the standard. That's my motto. Somebody is always putting the food out of reach. We're tired of falling off ladders. Who says a child can't paint? A pro is somebody who does it for money. Lower the standards. Let's all play poetry. Down with ideals, flags, convention, buttons, morals, the scrambled eggs on the admiral's hat. I'm talking sense. Lower the standards. Sabotage the stylistic approach. Let weeds grow in the subdivision. Putty up the incisions in the library facade. Those names that frighten grade school teachers. Those names whose U's are cut like V's. Burn the Syntopicon and the Harvard classics. Lower the standard on classics, battleships, Russian ballet, national anthems, but they're low enough. Break through to the bottom. Be natural as an American abroad who knows no language, not even American. Keelhaul the poets in the vestry chairs. Renovate the abbey of cold storage dreamers. Get off the culture wagon. Learn how to walk the way you want. Slump your shoulders, stick your belly out, arms all over the table. How many generations will this take? Don't think about it. Just make a start. You have made a start. Don't break anything you can step around, but don't pick it up. The law of gravity is the law of art. You first, poetry second, the good, the beautiful, the true come last. As the lad said, we must love one another or die. Okay, yeah, we'll do some originals. Do you remember when there were curly cords? Curlicued, attached to a brick, dialing 10 digits on the regular. Tricks are being played now. Guess what? We are fucked. Unless you can detox from the dopamine, dopes are taking over. Dopey Pinocchios we slowly chose. Subliminal messages control your thoughts. It's awful. Stems from fucking tech vampires thinking they're geniuses. Yeah, let's milk the weak-minded. Sadly, overpopulation is killing us, causing the rich fucks to live in their bubbles of 3D printed carbon fibers. They could easily feed the world, but they'd rather feed the military-industrial complex because it's good for the economy. I know it's more complicated than that, Jack, but fucking communicate and vaccinate. Goddamn all the misinformation. These fucks are toying with lives. Sadly, the pandemic is good for the planet that we've been ruining the last century. It's good for the economy. Survival of the fittest, I guess. Blips, slips and chips, tips, get it. Clips, fits, nips, grips, hip check. Slumping, bumping, rumps, jump up. Clumps, humps, chumps. I'm not gumpy. Chubs, rubs, blubbery nubs. It's a hub. Reiki, fakey, let's get naked in the lakey. Hit the brakes, vape, time to get baked. Rules, pools, infinite fools glued to propaganda, ghouls, bouillon cubes, so many rubes, hours, showers, cowards or survivors, you get what you give. Do you remember the last good conversation you had? I'm not talking about texting. I'm not talking about fucking video chat. Do you remember? Can you? Where does your phone live? Your third arm. your window to the world, your constant hiding place. Why go out in public anymore? Wally is coming by to deliver your food hands-free because it's scary out there. Talk people with other people face to face with a mask, of course. We need to get away from smartphones and the social media. It's turning people into angry, socially retarded, ADD'd out idiots. Are you anxious or depressed? Me too. The answers are not in your phone. Stretch, exercise, walk in the forest, smoke some weed, talk to someone face to face. Here is a super random monologue I found from the collected plays of Herb Gardner. This is an old school, I guess, modern playwright. He had some stuff on Broadway. Some movies were made off of this stuff. So pretty interesting stuff. This is the character of Murray from the play 1,000 Clowns. For 5 years, she did everything she could for Nick, but get married. Now, that's not easy to understand since she used to get married to everybody. But somehow having Nick matured her. She felt a responsibility not to get married to just anybody anymore. So she didn't marry Nick's father, nor was she married at the time he was born. You might call Nick a bastard or a little bastard, depending on how whimsical you feel at the time. I tell you, we got a real social worker's paradise here, folks. My sister Elaine showed up here one day with 2 suitcases, a hat box, a blue parakeet, a dead goldfish, and a 5-year-old child. 3 days later, she went downstairs to buy a pack of filter-tip cigarettes. 6 years later, she returned for the suitcases and the hat box. The parakeet I had given away, the goldfish I had long since flushed down the toilet, and the 5-year-old child had, with very little effort, become 6 years older. When Elaine returned for her luggage, I reminded her of the child and the pack of filter-tip cigarettes and suggested that this was perhaps the longest-running practical joke in modern history. She was accompanied by a tall chap with sunglasses who was born to be her 5th divorce and who tried to start a small conversation with me. At this point, I slapped my sister. 5th divorce slugged me. Sister cried, stopped quite suddenly, and then proceeded to explain to me briefly her well-practiced theory on the meaning of life, a philosophy falling somewhere to the left of whoopee. At which point, I remember I started laughing. And then we all laughed and said goodbye like people at the end of a long party. That was almost a year ago, and I've still got Nick. And I will end with a random Shakespearean. Did I say soliloquy earlier? I meant sonnet. I meant sonnet, Caleb. I meant sonnet. So I'm gonna bust out random. We'll do this one. Okay. I don't know the number. It's an L followed by 3 X's and another IX. It's 100 and something. Okay. Thank you all for watching tonight. Here we go. Say that thou didst forsake me for some fault, and I will comment upon that offense. Speak of my lameness, and I straight will halt, against thy reasons making no defense. Thou canst not love, disgrace me half so ill, to set a form upon desired change. As I will myself disgrace, knowing thy will, I will acquaintance strangle and look strange. Be absent from thy walks, and in my tongue thy sweet beloved name no more shall dwell, lest I too much profane should do it wrong, and happily of our old acquaintance tell. For thee against myself I'll vow debate, for I must ne'er love him whom thou dost hate.
Yeah. All right, Mark.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Sonnet 100 and something.
It was
Love
like
that
L,
one.
like L, and like 3 X's, and then an I, and then another X. I don't know what the hell that number is.
I know. I don't know it either. I should go back. Don't tell the professors.
You're listening.
There's professors watching, more than one.
I'll
Anyway.
sing those crazy college stories for later.
Oh yes. We never did anything bad in college.
Nope. Nothing at all.
Anyway, we do got to catch up about that sometime, though, Mark. I love that.
Yeah, definitely.
Very cool. Well, thanks for being here tonight. It's always great having you on the show. Thanks for sharing your work. I really loved your original poems. Really good stuff there, man. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really glad this is awesome, man. It's such a great thing that we've been able to adapt with, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I couldn't do it without y'all, so we'll keep it going.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. Y'all give it up one more time for Mark Hudson. And you're tuned in to Poetry Open Mic Asheville, sponsored by Sovereign Kava. Thanks for riding with us tonight. Our featured poet was Catherine Carter, and I'm your host, Caleb Beissert. Our technical director is Morgan Beissert, and we got a couple more poets for you tonight. And of course, we're here each and every Wednesday night, so check us out. Coming up next on the mic, we have another great Asheville poet in the house. I love this guy. We've done a lot of stuff together over the years. It's always great to be on a stage or on a screen reading poetry with him. Justin Blackburn is in the house. Y'all jump up and down, scream and shout, make a whole bunch of noise for Justin Blackburn.
Yeah.
What's up, Justin?
I had a cool experience. Well, last week I didn't get to do it because I could have messaged you, but Facebook banned my ass.
Oh, that's right. Well,
that's what
you get for posting all that QAnon stuff, Justin.
Yeah. A friend of mine told me they probably thought I was Antifa.
Oh, come on. They're banning Antifa now?
Yeah.
I mean,
what did
Antifa do? They just got blamed for everything.
Exactly. That was pretty funny. And no, but tonight I had a cool experience where I was on a coaching call with my coach.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had actually former. Yeah, it was great. I had a former. He goes for like 3.5 hours. He does these long ass calls.
Yeah.
And so I was in the. We were talking about like, feeling safe to be yourself, right? Mm-hmm. Like no matter what, expressing that authenticity. And I had this memory that I thought was pretty funny that I'd like to share. I remember being at this show, like a hipster show, like this is a long time ago. And there was all these hipsters in the corner over here gathered around. And there was this one kid over here that was like, not part of the group, and he looked sad. I walked up to the kid and he was like, yeah, man, they don't include me. They don't like me and all this stuff. So I yelled at the hipster crowd. I was like, hey, hipsters, this kid's cool. Let him be in. Don't stop being so fucking exclusive. Let him be in your fucking friend group. Yeah. He's cool. And I thought I was waiting for the band to start and I thought I'd like done my good deed for the day. And the person who ran the show took me outside and cussed me the fuck out, like fucking crazy, like was like, you motherfucker, shut the fuck up, and all this kind of like coming to my show starting shit, like all this kind of shit. And I was like, damn shit. Yeah, I didn't even know she just fucking cussed me out.
You're like, so I'm just trying to spread acceptance and love.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm starting shit.
So like that was a thing where it was like, it's cool when you can when you're in that space of past, because obviously I hadn't thought about that memory in years. But as I was, talking about that memory kind of came up, and I feel it left. And it's interesting how when you can get in those spaces of healing, those past memories can kind of come up that you don't even know, kind of traumatized you.
Mm-hmm.
In a way, because I mean, the person did in a way, because I felt like I did a good job, and I just got cussed the fuck out, like screamed in my face for like thinking I was doing a good, deed.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes you feel like, oh, I can't express my, what I'm saying? Like, it makes your subconscious be like, oh, me saying how I feel is wrong, is going to get me in trouble.
Exactly. Like you might not even have that thought at the time, but that thought gets in your subconscious.
Exactly. It gets into your body, because when you're getting like screamed at, you kind of go into this like shock to protect yourself.
Yeah, totally.
So that was an interesting thing. So that just happened. So I thought I'd share it.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing, man.
It would also be funny. I thought this would be funny.
Uh-huh.
If I had like 20 different drinks. So if I had this like yerba mate drink, and I have this juice, and I have water, and then I have this CBD drink. But this bottle. But like if I just kept like changing drinks, like
yeah,
and like then I would sip from this, like, man, that motherfucker has a lot of drinks.
You should just do it and see if anyone notices. One night I pretended to drink a bottle of malt vinegar on the show.
Oh,
I didn't mention it. I just pretended,
Oh, that's hilarious.
Like I was drinking it every now and then, but nobody noticed. Well, one person noticed, and they said they were very concerned about me.
That's funny.
But yeah,
How did the cabaret go?
Oh, it was good, man. Yeah, it was great. We pulled it off somehow. It was a hell of a show, making all that stuff come together. But yeah, I'll have to get you a link to see it, man. Cause we get your pieces in there. The Aaron turned into a song.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Stars and making
Stars
out.
and making out, man. Yeah, I love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
yeah,
very
Aaron
cool.
did a great job with that.
Yes, and we're working on some more cabaret events. So I definitely want to get you in person on some of those shows.
Yeah,
so.
I'd love to do it
For sure.
So I guess that's a good plug because that stars in Aaron bought my book.
Exactly.
And he was like, "Hey, man, I really like that poem you wrote, Stars and Making Out." And he turned it into a beautiful piece of music.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear it with the lyrics and singing.
Oh, yeah.
Poems from that.
Yeah, cool. Please do, man.
You
got some
I'm going to put this book on Amazon soon.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, y'all can keep up with Justin. He's on Facebook and Instagram and Amazon soon. So some love poems and some other stuff maybe.
I think I might just go with the love poems because I've been kind of
sounds good.
I've been kind of editing them because like when I redo the book, I kind of spend too much time re-editing it.
Yeah. Perfect. Well, this is the Love Stream live stream, so let's hear some love poems from Justin Blackburn. Everyone make some noise. Give it up.
All right. Great. Thank you, audience. That was incredible noise that y'all made for me. I feel really appreciated. I'm going to start. This is my book. It's called Love Poem. This is a manifest in my soulmate. Oh, and it's pretty interesting. Me and my soulmate, Gianna, who's my fiance, we just came out with a podcast. And the first episode's about conscious communication. And people have been singing. I've got some messages that people dug it. So it's on my page on Justin Blackburn if you want to see it. And I posted it on Instagram, poet, comedian, life coach. So I'm going to read a couple love poems. Anybody wants this book, it's $15. We'll go $10. Just message me and I'll mail it to you. And send me the money and I'll mail it to you. Here we go. This is the first poem. It's called The Most Beautiful Woman Claims to Be in Love with Me. She's a rocket, but I can't tell you how to light it. She's a roller coaster, but am I finally tall enough to ride it? She's got the cure to the disease I didn't know I had. She's so pure. After we kiss, I feel like a bubble bath. I'm running down the street, shirt off, spinning it around like a helicopter. A cop stops. What the hell are you doing? I'm in love, officer. I'm so happy I don't know what to do. Craziest thing, she's in love with me too. The most beautiful woman claims to be in love with me. It's scary in the most comforting way, like being a planet in orbit flying through outer space, but the way she makes me feel, I believe. She says I'm her dream man, but it's all a dream, man. She's a goddess, so she needs a god, not a human. I do my best to turn water into wine, but end up crying. I'll never be divine. Throwing up into a trash can. Maybe there's no God, only a goddess, and she's it. She knows me beyond my bullshit. How? She sees my past but loves me now. She touches my face. My defenses disintegrate. She dives into the worst of me and finds the clearest blue, opens the heart of me, the only part of me that is true. I look out the window and I'm in awe of the wind blowing. The moonlight shining on the green grass growing, the star, the tree in the front yard makes me cry. The street lights seem to be writing love letters to the night sky. Even the mailbox seems divine. I think I'm losing my mind. But she says, baby, this is what love is like. There's a voice in my head that wants to fight. It tells me I haven't earned it. But when I give that voice to that love, I can feel why I deserve it. I drop my doubt off at angel class to learn his divinity and leap into the embodiment of my new love-receiving identity. She is so turned on by that polar opposite feminine masculine attraction. She touches me where I can't feel, feels me where I can't wake, wakes me where I can't dream, straight into an ultralight beam of manic, godlike soul expansion. We don't have to go to Paris to have that romance in Old Paris, because the magic of love happens right here within her and me. She is my first true love because I am true in my love for the first time. She is my soulmate because I finally know mine. The most beautiful woman is in love with me. I, the most powerful man, stand tall in my masculine divinity. Woo! I fuck with that poem. I like that one. It's got a good slam to it. I'm gonna do a couple more. This collection has like some slammy poems, and then some more like page poems. So I just kind of did the slammy poem, so it might be hard for me to get back into the page poem mindset, but we'll run it. This is called The Air She Breathes. The air she breathes. I breathe her air and nothing else. I am a caterpillar in her butterfly garden. I'm a hallucinogenic mushroom in her endless field. I am the dominant love in her subconscious mind. I breathe her air. Holding hands in sand, my life loyal to the here right now, to be somewhere else soon. She is leaving to bloom across that ocean still. My devotion is to the air she breathes. No matter how far she sets herself free, I am forever blessed to breathe her air and her air only. Her air, where our hearts speak each other's love languages without saying a word. A bird flies through her air. My love, I am grateful to breathe in the deep longing that comes running through my earthly state your presence devours. I'll seek shade under the stars breathing you, and the lonely hours to follow. Like the solace I find under your shape, until we reemerge breathing in the same state. This is what it means to close my eyes to all others. Breathe. Air. All right, let's do two more smaller ones. How about I'll do two really small ones and one like a full page one. So two small ones, here we go. This is called The Beauty of Life. The beauty of life is that it could end at any time, yours and mine. The beauty of love is that it's never ending. Bam. This is called Deep Inner Dives. We've hurt each other enough to know only you can hurt yourself and only I can hurt me. We've also done enough deep inner dives inside the powerful truth that shines within us to know only love heals. So let's validate each other's feels and support our healings while we are revealing to who we are to ourselves and to each other. Together, we can show us why we would never hurt ourselves. All right, this is my last one. This is called God, Goddess, Soul Sex. And I actually made a poetry record once with my boy Ian Morris. Shout out to my friend Ian Morris. He does sound. I know he does sound healing. Listen to Smile is the name of his sound healing thing. And he did this record, and I turned this into and it's really good because the poem's pretty good. But he did a really great job of putting background music. Here we go. Pretty fat little grooves stomp and thrust and call out of us. Have their own ears to listen to us breathe as the fire holds its own heart to watch us beat together, all three. Melodies flaunt and flutter, dreams of faraway worlds become closer, dreams of better and worse burn away forever as our binary fractions rustle the leaves in our one eternal mind, giving way to northern flashes of light emerging high in the southern sky above. I woo her, my hand on the back of her head, staring into her beyond eyes, laying her down in our majestic, magical lullaby kitchen forest, kissing the blessings of our beheld awakening. I believe in her more than I've ever believed in anything. I do not know where we go while making love, but it's definitely beyond theories of space and time, far away from some skeptical scientist in a classroom saying, molecular speaking, that is impossible. It is pure love, where everything is possible and impossible at the same exact time, with no possibility to ever not exist. I fuck her. With every life I've ever lived, she turns early morning bright in the dark evening sky, our body blankets wrapped, warm together inside. The fire gazes through her green eyes, tender. We sip each other's lips, naked, surrender in a midnight campfire picnic flurry of blurry beauty romance. The sonnet that is the night revels our minds, passionate depth clenches each bead of sweat as we release differently, satisfying our deaths sure to come. Our minds motionless with a million senses circling the rub, rushing through our blushing faces, kissing majestically young, ancient in love, blooming fragility. We fuck bright, starry-eyed, perfect, precious, while volcanoes rupture hot magma across the Pacific rings of fire, while blue moons shoot through intergalactic space. We are creating so much space, expanding space to feel, space to heal, space to real, thoughts to things, dreams to reality, humans to gods and goddesses. My name is Justin Blackburn, and that was Poems from Love Poems that manifested my soulmate. You can buy it on some kind of website, but I'd rather you just hit it for me because I get more money. Cool. If you want to, I'm on the Facebook and Instagram. My name's Justin Blackburn. If you want to book, send me a message and send me the money, and I'll send you a book. $10.
Only $10.
Only
Thank you,
$10.
Justin. Yeah, you know it.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Justin. Good stuff, man. Thanks for being here.
Yeah,
It's
love
always
it.
great. Yeah, man, great having you on the show. Hope you can
be
make
back
it back
next
next week. Awesome.
Yeah, I'll be
we'll
here.
Be here.
Yeah,
All right.
excited for the live shows. Hopefully,
Yes.
the vaccine's coming and we can all do this again in the company of our,
Woo.
You have a great one, man.
Company of our company, man. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Me too. Much love, my friend.
Much love, man. Y'all give it up one more time for Justin Blackburn. And you've got it tuned in to Poetry Open Mic Asheville. Go ahead and keep it locked here. We got some more poets coming at you. We got some comments here for Justin.
Just cigarettes on the viper that bite. Got to score on the slide.
Music there by Joe Shelton, one of our open mic performers. All right.
I don't know the substance to which you refer. Just cigarettes.
All right. Cool. Yes, Justin Blackburn there. I'm Caleb Beissert. You're tuned in to Poetry Open Mic Asheville. Thanks to Sovereign Kava, our sponsor. Yes, indeed. And we got Emilia Maldonado up next, and then I'll leave y'all with a few poems. Yeah, we're gonna keep it rolling here. So let's B-Man Emilia is joining us all the way from Chicago tonight. Great to have our Chicago fam in the house. Y'all gotta make a whole bunch of noise though. It's a long way to Chicago. Y'all gotta scream louder. Give it up for Emilia Maldonado.
What up, what up?
What's up, Emilio?
How you doing?
Good, man. What's going on tonight, man? See, you
Let
got
me
the
ask
shades
you.
on. What's up?
Yeah, I thought these were lost to, some drunken night. So I just found them recently. I'm like, hey, these are some of my favorite super cheap shades. Like, they're so fucking shitty cheap. Like, there's smudges.
Though.
There's like smudges that I can't get rid of, and the plastic is like, I mean, it's quite frankly, there's like some sort of mystical force keeping them from not snapping at the bridge or over here. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but they just they cannot be denied. How was your shows, man?
I'm sure they've seen some things. The shows are great. Thanks for asking. Yeah, we it was crazy. It was a hell of a lot of work. Getting like the technical end of things up and running, getting it edited together, working with the live show, doing the whole thing. But we pulled it off. We had some good shows, and I think we know a little bit more what we're doing now. So hopefully we'll be seeing some more poetry cabaret shows real soon. But yeah, man, thanks for asking.
I feel very shitty and sorry and embarrassed that I didn't tune in. I was like looking forward to it, and just
I understand, man. I know how that stuff
no, there's
goes.
not even it's not even understanding. Just forgive me, because I feel bad. I was looking forward to checking it out, man.
Yeah. Well, I think
is it still does it still exist out there? Because I was trying to find it.
That's what I'm wondering. We need to check in with our technical director,
Beissert,
but
Sunday I was trying to buy a ticket, but I couldn't find it just went right back to like last year's info.
Oh yeah. On Sunday, yeah.
So
I had
I was
to you had to see
trying
it
to
live, but
see if I could, pay for it, and then maybe
I think there may be a way. I'll get back to you on that. We're trying to work out something because there's a lot of people missed it and really wanted to see it. So
yeah, good.
So I think we're gonna work something out. So hopefully
Yeah, and I mean,
still
I'd be willing to
get
throw
to
some
see
cash at people. So like, another way for
yeah,
you guys
totally.
to get
I
some.
think we may do
some
some kind
greenbacks.
of like on demand type of deal with it. Of course, it'd be a rerun of the live show, but still, like it's
Yeah.
I think you'll dig it, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
little fundraiser too, maybe.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll work all that out. What you working with tonight, man? You bring some poems for us?
Yeah, I brought some poems. I felt bad about how just so negative I was last week. Usually I feel like, I bring a different energy, but last week I just, it was, it wasn't.
You're a little down. You're like, yeah, okay, cool, man, whatever,
Yeah.
But
And I didn't mean to be like that. I
hey,
mean,
man,
you know how much I love you.
You can't be. Nobody can be on all
Yeah.
the time, man. It's all right,
Yeah.
man. But yeah,
Mhm.
we're try to I try to like with the whole love stream thing, make it something we can get like. Obviously, the world is shitty. We're sitting here in front of a computer, like the only way we can hang out.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
but like to kind of like make the best of that, and hopefully, it's not gonna always work, but hopefully, people walk away from the mic feeling a little bit better when the day's done.
And I mean, I look forward to it. Usually I do, but yeah, last week I was just I just couldn't put a cork in all the fucking bad vibes.
Yeah.
Well,
I feel you. It happens sometimes, man. It's a lot of shit, but hopefully we can break through every now and then and have some light. But anyway, or not. But
no, I said you guys bring the light. You bring the light, man.
Fuck yeah! Thank you, Emilia. Appreciate it. And
Yeah,
youth
sure.
gives me hope too. I gotta say,
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, sweet man. You got some poems for us?
I got
what
some
you got
poems
tonight? You been writing anything or going through
no.
old stuff?
This is all old stuff. There's a couple. I think there's definitely two really short ones that are, pulled out of the crypt, so to speak.
Cool.
And then one I haven't read in a while here on the show, but yeah, I wanted to start out with something, changing up that real negative kind of energy I had last week, so it's a little bit more of a hopeful piece.
Hell yeah, I can dig.
The first one I got coming up, but yeah, no, I've been writing a little bit, but I let me tell you, if I can take a minute to just so like everybody, right? Day or fantastic month, and then like 6 hours will just fucking derail you, and you walk into a room and it'll be like, hey, how's it going? Fuck off. And it's just like, and the previous month you were just like, fucking like just tap dancing and fucking Gene Kellying everything, right? So that's an interesting thing about kind of what happened on last week, because prior to that reading, I was actually really looking forward to talking and telling you, I actually even wrote down a couple notes. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to talk about this.
Yeah.
And I almost forgot now, but it wasn't because of negativity. It was just because it was from a week and a half ago now at this point. But it's like before I get into that, I'm to all the people out there that have loved ones or are personally going through like chronic pain or people that are in chemo, people that are struggling with the depression, the mental illness, and right now, and just I big fucking love and support and respect, from my fucking heart, however dark and black it might be. There's still like parts of it that emanate, love and yeah. But I mean this serious, like super sincerely, that my heart goes out to people out there that are dealing with something that's just like it's so regular and so pounding and can just take over days and years even of a life and all that. And yet people still kind of go through it because there's all these things worth being here for, and that they can, they have the help or they have the strength or both to get through these things, and not to say that people that are struggling and thinking of doing something bad to themselves, I don't mean to imply that they're weak. I don't mean that at all. If anything, the fact that they're going through stuff like that, talks about how strong they are as well. I'm just saying, I feel for all these people out there that are still here. It's not like we have had, like the terrible thing that's hurting us is this virus, and there's a lot of pain and sadness, and yet there's all this creativity, there's all this art, there's all this community, and people are still doing it. And I fucking love that. It's just beautiful, and so I wanted to tell you, like, I haven't been really writing, but I've been kind of like doing that percolating thing that I do when I'm about ready to kind of like pop out a bunch of stuff, and it's been fueled by music. And the funny thing is, like, I hadn't been listening to music that much lately because one of my turntables broke and the other one has been acting funky. So I haven't been listening. And then ridiculous, like passive aggressive comment. So it's just like I haven't really been listening to music at like, the proper volume. You know what I mean? Like wearing headphones, listening to music is like fine when you're, a teenager and smoking dope and trying to just be cool and quiet. But like when you want to like listen and just like bounce around in your house and sing out loud, headphones don't really quite do it.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe there are people that can hang it, but I can't.
Right.
And
you gotta love it.
Yeah, and I had somehow gotten kind of drifted away from it. But I started watching on PBS locally here in Chicago. They started replaying the Ken Burns jazz documentary.
Oh, cool.
And I fucking love that documentary.
Oh, yeah.
I love this
Great
documentary.
stuff. Yeah.
Everyone they got is so good. They all tell these wonderful stories, these great anecdotes. And then Wynton Marsalis being like the main voice who can talk so knowledgeably, not only about like the qualities of the music. I mean, he has instant recall of thousands and thousands of songs and solos, right? But then also he can tell you as a genius musician and as a composer, all these other insights that no jazz critic, no writer, no dancer who was there in the time, or he just gives you this extra insight that's just a fucking gift, to have on that documentary. Let alone the people who lived it and are telling you like, yeah, man, I dug this music because that's when I was 15, and sometimes when you're 15, that's the best music you're ever going to hear, even if it wasn't, because that's it brings you to that point, and all those different stories. And I'm getting kind of goosebumps right now just thinking about the music that I've been listening to, and it's just reconnected me with primarily Louis Armstrong. And it's funny, when I first became aware of Armstrong, it was like more on that mainstream, grinning and sweaty and watching like old movies and just kind of the entertainer kind of stuff. Yeah, the Satchmo, and just and I mean doing wonderful performances, but only really listening to him as a performer and seeing clips and just and then he was always like caricaturized and all that sort of stuff when I was growing up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until like way later, as like a much later adult, that I started relearning his importance in jazz, and I still didn't quite get how incredible he was until actually the first time I saw the documentary, and then listening to these like solos get broken down and highlighted. I was like, holy fuck, wait a minute. Now I'm getting why, it's like I had my own heroes from jazz already, and like my heroes didn't talk about Louis Armstrong because they were saxophone players. So like Charlie Parker talked about Lester Young, and like, it was that kind of stuff, and I didn't really, because in my era, Miles was like king, and I never really kind of got blown away by Miles. I didn't care for it as much. It didn't speak to me.
Interesting.
That I thought I always loved the trumpet, and the cornet kind of sound, but it wasn't anything that spoke to me the way like the alto and tenor sax could, right?
Mm-hmm. I feel you. Yeah.
And so listening to these guys describe Louis Armstrong solos and break down, listen to what happens here, and some of them, there's this great author, and I guess he was from New Orleans, but he was around in that era, and he was like a mentor, art critic. His name was I believe it was Arthur Murray. Moments of storytelling in them, he talks about, he quotes Hemingway. It's like you're listening to this jazz documentary. This guy quotes Hemingway about like how if you can't appreciate the sweat on a wine bottle on a summer's day when you're with your partner and they're wearing a see-through dress, then you're missing out on life. And connecting that with like these like quiet moments in songs and just all the fucking time travel and space shit that Louis Armstrong was like exploding into the universe here on planet Earth. So I haven't been writing, but I can't wait till I start writing, because I keep rewatching episodes to like listen to like performances over, or to like hear different sort of descriptions again and again, just because they're just like, fuck. I mean, it's like being, like having that cassette when you were a kid, or like, okay, let me put that LP on again. Let me put that LP on again. So I'm curious what's going to happen. Like I have started writing a little bit.
You get that rhythm in you and stuff, and then you do something.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
It, man. I think you got something there, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, like I said, I'm just curious, like, to see what this is going to start, what's going to start cooking out of this. So, but even if nothing comes out of it, it's just reconnected me with music, which is, thank you, Ken Burns.
Still good. Still
good,
right?
Yeah. Thank you again, Louis Armstrong. Thank you, Wynton Marsalis. Thank you.
Totally.
All these mofos,
Absolutely.
And I know as a musician and as a lover of music and as a good writer, I knew you could appreciate all these little things.
Yeah.
So, and I really wanted to share that.
I love that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, man. And if you have Amazon, it's on Amazon Prime right now. But it's only on till it's only the documentary is only on until the 31st. And then I don't know where it goes.
I've seen it, but I should watch it again.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it in a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just happened to
And I was just listening to some of the Marsalises the other day. Was it Charlie is the drummer, Marsalis? Charlie Marsalis?
I don't know.
Oh, I can't believe I don't know this. Anyway, yeah, great family of musicians there. Great documentary series, and yeah, fucking Louis Armstrong, man.
Of all the things that would have come out of my mouth, today, but I'm glad to say it. I'm glad to say his name, man.
Yeah, I know. I I figured you'd be like, man, that's some played out stuff, man. Come talk to me about some Freddie Hubbard or something, man. You know?
No, just getting goosebumps thinking about his music, man.
Right?
This was, he's literally fucking, Albert Einstein and the theory of relativity. It was, and all those concepts were getting written down as jazz is being produced, and that's not on fucking accident. I did you know what a maquette is, right? It's like a mini sculpture. It's kind of like a model for a sculpture you're gonna do, right?
Okay.
So it's like the idea is I'm showing you what I want to do in a larger scale. Okay.
Yeah, like a study kind of for a prototype.
Yeah, exactly. Closer to like a prototype, right? And I had made one based on this like weird, like not documentary, like short film that was like trying to explain extra dimensional concepts, and it was animated, and it was like, a dot, a line, a globe, which is the 3D object, right? And then it was showing like the 4D or fifth dimensional object kind of coming in and then kind of coming out. And it was like this weird thing. And it blew my mind because it was so simple about how to explain, first dimension, second dimension way, sure, based on that, and I had this like plexiglass, so it's like see-through, and I just like drilled in this little hole and I filled it with paint so it looked like there was like the suspended dot, and then I had a piece of steel that was a triangle, but it's flat, so it's two-dimensional. It's just, there's no. And then I made a cube, the 3 dimensions, and I did them in the primary colors, and then the name of it I called was "Jazz is the Secret Language of the Universe," and it's no surprise to me to know that jazz is being created in the United States around the same time as like theoretical physics is like happening on other parts of the world, and like when you think about what jazz solos introduced to music, it's akin to fucking time travel, because now they pull out.
It's very quantum.
And they're just it's super, and it's just like, and swing is it, like when you hear it, you hear it.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that swing. It swings or it doesn't, right?
Yeah, and it's like one of the things. I have a long fucking list of things to be grateful for. I'll be honest. I'm a lucky ass motherfucker.
That's good, man.
And one of the things on that fucking list is definitely that, I don't know that I can swing, but I can hear it. I'm so fucking glad I can.
I think if you can hear it, you have the ability.
I think so too, but I just don't want to. I don't want to lay any kind of claims on anything.
Yeah, no, I feel you.
I have too much respect for swing. But
yeah.
That's a, all praise is due to Allah, but only the mistakes are mine. That's yeah. So yeah, like listening to that and thinking about that and thinking about how, man, it's been so, it's funny. Like I saw this documentary much later than I started writing, but jazz and blues and hip hop are the 3 biggest like influences to the way I write, So it's just been, it's cool to kind of like feel somewhat connected to that sometimes, Anyhow.
Well, I hear that in your work, and we should probably get to some of your work.
Yeah, man, I'm sorry.
No, but thank you. I would love to hear some of that good poetry you got.
Yeah, brother.
And let's turn it over to you, man.
You look dapper, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Right back at you, man. Nice shade. All right, y'all give it up for Youth Gives Me Hope, Emilia Maldonado, straight from Humboldt Park in Chicago. Make some noise.
All right. Okay. So this first one is all right. Alive. Vibrate in love. Vibe and beautiful. Correspondiendo a mi alma, mi sabor. Wearing old shoes and they fit good. Vibe and beautiful. Painfully enjoying all these hips, all them asses. No city of God, city of funk, city of jazz, hot city, my fucking city, alive city. Got a hard on looking for the itty bitty pretty one city. You know this city, my city, alive city. Worked all day, worked all night, Galito's way. Feeling motherfucking flavor, man. My city, alive city. Ruby and La Bella roaming after midnight. The heartache calls to me, city. My, oh my, oh my, oh my. Where did I go wrong? Alive city. Let's fuck in the back of the taxi city. Ass city. Alive city. All right, here's a short one. Walking with my father, happy. Just done man stuff. Laughing at myself. My laugh is like his. Curling my mustache, it's longer than his. El hijo del coyote, my father. El hijo del alacrán, my father. Like my grandfather, el vicio is my left hand. Soy un parandero y un borracho. Hellhounds sleep, but corridos are always on my trail. Walking in fields of home, his home, my father, son of coyote, son of alacrán. He never tells stories to little children or tumbles with night. He lives intimate details none may know, and married my mom. All right, this is Terminal Bar. I sat for Picasso once in Barcelona. I angry fucked several horrors over several weeks. Awkward smile at the Korean mart because of the smell. A polite hate, a polite smell, a polite hate fascism. We revel in such niceties. I took Sancho Panza to the 20th century. We both got our dicks wet. One of my greatest achievements might have been making a whore come. Or was it the best lie I ever believed? Here's what I didn't do. I didn't finger bang you through your stockings high school style. I didn't walk you to the men's room and eat that delicious ass of yours. Here's also what I didn't do. I didn't share my popcorn with you. I didn't open my quart of beer. Drinking my flask already made me feel like a lowlife. I didn't need the dirty pants, holy shoe announcement by pouring my Carta Blanca into a lemonade cup. There's heroin Tony dozing off or eating candy bars. It looks like the same shit. He's searching his phone and Facebook, desperately hoping to be remembered, looking for likes. I do the exact same. Zombies never attack each other. We're just looking for fresh meat. Decay has its own unmistakable charm, I suppose. Tony doesn't even wipe away the dried blood anymore. Cratered forearms can't help a brother with beautiful green eyes. That Mexican Mike, we all love him. He buys the beers, shares his hooch. We do the shots. I find a clown's been long for these parts. Sox fan with teeth and a teller of asinine asininity, if there's such a word. Don't bother about stepping away. There's never a point. It never ends. I avoid sleep because I can indulge in the fantasy that you will call, that you thought of me before you slept. God's least favorite son, my father's only disappointment, steel mill blast furnace at wind of fire, 3 feet away from a human melting point. I just feel like getting fucking drunk. Man, I miss dancing with butterflies. Once thought I could meet angels when I needed them. Solamente sangronas are what I conjure now. All right. This is called Corrido Lágrimas. Ahora ya sé por qué estoy chillando, porque lloro por el hombre que nunca fui, por los hombres que ya pasaron, por estar vivo no me hice este hombre, no morí como este hombre. Lamento que ya no grito de día y de noche, hasta ese día vivas, ese día despiertas de este mundo, ese mundo, esas calles, y huele, y gabachos consentidos gritando, fuck yeah, y ni saben caminar en un cerro, despertar en la sierra, calles planos, vidas planos, nosotros también, puro espejo y coraje. Lloro porque ya no me estoy emborrachando, ya no me siento muy, ni tintan. Lloro por las manos que ya no están en mi dulce cuerpo, en mi pecho, en mi barba, en mi bigote. Lloro por las manos que ya no están agarrándote, besándote, haciendo el amor o echándonos unos chingazos de sudor. Lloro porque ya no puedo estar contigo, escuchando tus deseos, tus dulces consejos. Haciendo dono, haciéndome payaso. Puras habladas este güey, puras habladas esta vida de este güey. Lloro porque me hacen falta los tambores, me hacen falta las guitarras, las canciones, las mujeres, los hombres, la tristeza, la alegría. Lloro por mi tío Pepe, mi tío Tato, mi tío Raimundo, mi abuelita Enriqueta. mi tío Chavita, pero también por el fulano de tal, ese que está muriendo de pinche frío en lugar de la pinche risa. Le nombran pesadillas. Me encanta un chingo. Me hace falta gritar en coro. Me canso de llorar. Me canso de llorar este día, este minuto. Ni yo sé si estoy sufriendo. Estoy aburrido. Me echo de corridas. Si le digo, catelas. A mí propios deseos, sueños, sí, me corro. Corro a echar bolas de lo a mí me falta. Entonces, que busco a otro corrido. This is another little short one. Working class shame. Now, just talk. Myth. Gray, blue, greasy Buscemi. Traición. You've already seen me naked. I got enough friends. They smell like weed and whiskey. Vegan bodies stink in Ashland Avenue. All the people that think you're extraordinary. That's it.
That's Emilia Maldonado, y'all. Thank you, Emilio. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good stuff, dude. I really do hear that jazz rhythm in some of those poems, and
yeah,
maybe some other types of music too. Well, obviously some other types, but.
Yeah, sometimes. Right. No, yeah.
Yeah. Very
Yeah,
cool,
yeah.
man.
I'm glad that I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you could hear it. I mean.
Oh, totally, man. Well, yeah, we'll have to jam again someday too.
Hey,
There's
I
full
am
Emilio out there somewhere.
I am now currently have moving slowly up the list of when I'll get my vaccine. So
Nice.
I definitely will be making a road trip after that happens. But that's okay.
I'm looking forward to get vaccinated too, man. It's good, man. I'm ready to be over with this and get back to doing live poetry and music events. That's for sure.
You
In
know,
Asheville
I was,
and in Chicago.
yeah. You know, I was just
make
wondering.
it out there sometime.
Oh shit, man! When it's warm, come out when it's warm.
Oh yeah,
it's much more.
Believe me, I've been there when it's cold.
Yeah. Well, and you've been in DC.
But I tell people the same thing about Asheville, though. You know.
Yeah. No, I hear that. But yeah, man. You know, I was just thinking recently, like, what's it gonna be like for the first, you know, not just several months, but several years of like this post, you know, pandemic? Is it gonna just turn into like fucking, you know, debauchery times or something, like, you know? Because I mean, you're just gonna have this whole. I mean, it's not only going to be those of us that are already of age, but think of like all these high school kids,
Yeah.
you know, and all these like adolescents, all these teens, right? That have like gone through when it's like the most important to you in your life to have social connections, and you've been like separate and separated.
Yeah.
I wonder what that's going to look like, but
I hear you, man.
I hope it's an explosion in the good ways, you know?
Yeah, definitely. An outpouring of art and creativity and all that stuff. You know, I mean, I don't I don't really see it being like a day where it's all just back on. It'll probably come back a little by. It's gonna take some time, but yeah.
Like, I can't wait to get to
back
Walmart.
And yeah, right. Oh my god. But yeah, definitely can't wait for live music, live entertainment, all that stuff to come back, and all the good stuff that comes out of that flourishing, that coming together, people, and all that stuff.
Thank you to Morgan again.
Absolutely. Thanks to Morgan, our technical director. In the meantime, we will be back here each and every Wednesday night for more Poetry Open Mic Asheville. Emilia, thanks for joining us tonight from Chicago.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure.
Always mine.
And hope to see you next week. But thank you, man. Great set tonight. Good times.
Peace,
all right, y'all give it up one more time for Emilia Maldonado. All
Love
right.
you, buddy.
Love you too, man. Cheers. Yes, indeed, and you're tuned in to Poetry Open Mic Asheville, sponsored by Sovereign Kava. Yes, indeed. Oh, we got it. Sponsored by Sovereign Kava. Let's see what it's doing. Okay, we'll work with it. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I'll leave y'all with a couple poems if you're still tuned in out there. Thank you. Thank you for keeping it locked here. And thank you again to our featured poet, Catherine Carter. We got links up for you to buy those books. We'll have those in the comments and all that good stuff. If you want to support local, get them from City Lights and Silva. And, of course, these are the links for the books at LSU Press. Of course, check them out. Good stuff there by Catherine Carter. Oh, yes, and I'll be doing a reading for the Carolina Poets. That's coming up tomorrow night. I hope you will all tune in. I'm reading with some fabulous other poets there. Really look forward to. And, I hope you all can tune in and make it to that reading. Always a good time on the Carolina Poets there. They have a lot of fantastic authors on the show. All right. Very good, man. And shout out to all our open micers tonight. It was so good to see the Hubers in the house. It was so good to, see everyone. Christopher, Mark, Hudson, Justin Blackburn, everyone. It's been great. Thank you, y'all. All right. Let's do a few poems here to leave y'all with. This one's called Forest Elegy Number 2. Last night, while you were dreaming, the wildcat saw an owl rise from the bushes in front of me, struggling with rabbit to the hollow tree, to the quiet of the blue moon night with its power lines and steeples. This one's called Tattoo Room. This is a found poem. Tattoo room for rent, behind Denny's on Patton. Tattoo room for rent, or could possibly do commission-based pay. Must have own equipment and be able to get health department inspection. Give us a call. Ask for Dale or Jerry. Thanks. Sliced. The sound of an airplane. I watch a coyote walk to the end of the railroad track at dusk. The trees grew tall since I first came here. Or have I shrunk? I carry suitcases, though the train has left. I eat a grapefruit for lunch. I had to jump several times to pluck it from its branch above a desert where it rains once a year. Weymouth Dream. The haunting pines continue to look into my dreams, peering in the still August evening into the old southern house where there's always a sound in the night, where the road cruises by, where test missiles explode in the distance and skew the pictures on the walls. There's a ragged motel on a roadside called the Whispering Pines Motel. Sad vacations from the past. The highway becomes little towns on the horizon. I cross towns off the map. Mountains vanish into flatland. A gopher tortoise eases into sedges. Dark trails curl through woods. My dreams continue to look through the perfect trunks of the long-leaf pines that turn into mist where all that is lost goes. Like the blind trout in Linville Caverns, there are infinite parts of the caverns, but we don't know them any farther than our own little stream. We caress the waters, find our futures in the dark. Even the rock drips over time. Visitor in the yard. It always ends up with mountains. I can't be concrete. The city moves me to other places. I failed to take any pictures. The rains fall like rain. A black bear crosses the yard, disappears into the bushes. They say it's raining meteors, but the clouds are too thick to see. Tomorrow seed. Old sands are yesterday bones. White fleet of trucks hum on a freeway. Nobody has time. Today is scrambled eggs, newspapers, good coffee. The dog takes no interest in pigeons, but she chases the squirrels because they run. Turn up a guitar and play your name to me on its strings. Build a sculpture out of my bones in a surrealist style, as Bob Kaufman would if he sculpted with human bones and air. I would buy all his masterpieces, sitting unnoticed at the flea market. Time pulls a fast one on us. I'm lost in its darkness, shade of unreality, blowing through leaves as tomorrow seed catches on fresh dew. And this one's called The Moon is Weeping Apples into the Ocean. A true story. The surreal arrived in dreams of costumed ancestors, dancing from wherever they came, though we still don't know the first mammal to dream. Dreams, like a transistor radio, pick up a weather report from the wrong day and year, a country no longer there, in a language unfamiliar, some preacher screaming unto himself. Nothing is isolated. Every dream departs. In waking life, a woman at the party who met me only once a year ago tells me she dreamt of me the night before. I was warning everyone about the small animals who were in danger. I pleaded for people to help them. Then I met Tom Rayworth and told him who I was. I know, he said. Astonished, I remarked, that's cool. And he replied, no shit. I'll leave you with some cover poems. This is from Merwin, the great poet W.S. Merwin, rest in peace, and the 13th century Sufi mystic Jalaluddin Rumi, the Coleman Barks translation. This is Merwin's The Present. As they were leaving the garden, one of the angels bent down to them and whispered, I am to give you this as you are leaving the garden. I do not know what it is or what it is for, what you will do with it. You will not be able to keep it. But you will not be able to keep anything. Yet they both reached at once for the present. And when their hands met, they laughed. Come to the garden in spring. There's wine and sweethearts in the pomegranate blossoms. If you do not come, these will not matter. If you come, these will not matter. Without a net, I catch a falcon and release it to the sky, hunting God. This wine I drink today was never held in a clay jar. I love this world. Even as I hear the great wind of leaving it rising. For there is a grainy taste I prefer to every idea of heaven. Human friendship. Human friendship. For there's a grainy taste I prefer to every idea of heaven. Human friendship. Human friendship. There's a grainy taste I prefer to every idea of heaven. Human friendship. Human friendship. Without a net, I catch a falcon and release it to the sky. Human friendship. human friendship. Thanks for coming to Open Mic tonight. It's been an honor and a pleasure. Thank you so much to our featured poet, Catherine Carter. I'm your host, Caleb Beissert. Our technical director is Morgan Beissert. And our sponsor is Sovereign Kava. Check us out same time, same place next week. Y'all be safe out there. Take care of yourselves and one another. Take this feeling we've created here tonight and take it wherever you are with you and do something good with it. Cheers. Human friendship. Human friendship. Max Milner on the keyboards, Jason Moore on saxophone, Aaron Price on bass, Chris Cooper on guitar. I'm Caleb Beissert. Thanks for hanging out, y'all. It means a lot. Y'all take care of your barkeeps. Get home safe. Hopefully we'll see you again sometime. Cheers.